Hi, my name is Nurwadina Sofia, and I'm going to introduction hardening tests. Hardening tests are usually to assess the level of life of the product, such as drying and food by consumer. In this test, panelists give a ranking on a scala of 1 to 9 based on how much they like or dislike the product. These tests help determine consumer acceptance of the product as well as assess sensory qualities such as taste, aroma, texture, and appearance. The assessment data is collected and analyzed using a statistic such as ANOVA to determine significant difference in the level of light between the samples. Next, about the panelists. Panelists consist of the 30 students from KKN aged between 19 and 24 years, with 19 female and 12 males. They have been experienced in the sensory evaluation and will provide assessment of their hotel in the hygienic test to evaluate the overall liking. This evaluation will be help determine user expectation of the product and its sensory quality, such as taste, aroma, texture, and appearance.
Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh everyone. So my name is Siti Zahira binti Salfi. I am from DHF4. So now let's move on to how this sample were prepared. The preparation process was consistent and controlled to ensure the accuracy in the sensory evaluations. Here's a step-by-step overview of how a sample was made. So the first step is choosing and preparing the fruit. The fruits we used were dragon fruit and mango, selected for their bright colors and also refreshing flavors. These fruit were also cut into uniform pieces to maintain consistency in texture across all samples. Ensuring that the fruit pieces were the same size allow panelists to have a uniform experience with each sample. The second step is nata de coco. Nata de coco, which will add the chewy texture to the fruit cocktail, was also cut into consistent cube sizes to match the fruit pieces, ensuring uniformity. The third step is mixture. Each sample used a combination of liquid milk and condensed milk in a 3 to 2 ratio. This mixture was prepared the same way for all three samples to maintain a rich and creamy base. And we make sure to mix the milk thoroughly, ensuring the condensed milk was fully incorporated. The fourth step is sugar solution. The sugar solution were prepared in different concentration to achieve the varying levels of sweetness. The sample 814 had 100 ml of sugar solution made by dissolving 50 ml sugar in 50 ml hot water. Sample 261 had 150 ml sugar solution made from 100 ml sugar and 50 ml hot water. Sample 694 had 200 ml of sugar solution made by dissolving 100 ml, 150 ml sugar in 50 ml hot water. We make sure the sugar was fully dissolved in hot water to ensure even sweetness distribution in each sample. The fifth step is combining the ingredient. We combine the cut fruit, nata de coco, and the milk mixture in equal proportions across the sample. The prepared sugar solution were then added to each sample based on their assigned sweetness level, and each sample was made truthfully to ensure an even distribution of sweetness. And then the sixth step is chilling the sample. After preparation, all the sample were refrigerated to maintain a consistent texture and flavor. This step was crucial to ensure that the nata de coco remained firm and the fruit maintained its freshness during the sensory evaluation. So,
in our sensory evaluation test of fruit cocktails with 3 difference of sugar concentration, we assess the appearance, aroma, texture, taste, and overall liking in unit scale. The scale starts from 1 to 9, which is the 9 is the light extremely and the 1 is this light extremely. Now let's dive into the next part, which is discussion about the ANOVA test of appearance. The appearance test typically involve assessing the attributes such as color, clarity, and visual appeal. Judges will evaluate the fruit cocktails based on how vibrant and fresh the colors look. The figure below is shown the ANOVA result of appearance. The hash null state that there is no significant difference between the three samples. Hash authentic state that there is a significant difference between the three samples. We can see at the table here, the obtained F value is lower than F critical value. So, we have to accept the hash null FCC at confidence level at 0.05. Therefore, there is no significant difference between the three samples.
ANOVA test aroma. The aroma test typically involves assessing the scent emitted by the cocktail drink. Participants evaluate the fruit cocktail based on how appealing the smell of the cocktail drink. So the null hypothesis is there's no significant difference between sample 216, sample 695 and sample 814. And the alternative hypothesis is there is a significant difference between sample 216, sample 695 and sample 814. So the obtained value is 2.616, which is lower than the critical value, which is 3.156. Therefore, accept null hypothesis with confidence level 0.05. Thus, there is no significant difference between three samples of cocktail based on aroma. ANOVA test texture. The texture test typically involves assessing the physical properties of the cocktail drink. Participants evaluate texture of the fruit cocktail using either their fingers or in their mouth during consumption. So the null hypothesis is that there is no significant difference between sample 216, sample 695 and sample 814. And the alternative hypothesis is there is a significant difference between the sample 216, sample 695 and sample 814. And the obtained F value is 5.03, which is higher than the critical value, that is 3.156. Therefore, the null hypothesis is rejected at confidence level 0.05. Thus, there is a significant difference between the three samples of the cocktail based on the texture. ANOVA test. The test typically involves in assessing the basic taste sensations of the cocktail drink. Participants perceive taste of the fruit cocktail by their tongue to evaluate the flavor profile of the fruit cocktail. So the null hypothesis is that there is no significant difference between sample 216, sample 695 and sample 814. And the alternative hypothesis is that there is a significant difference between sample 216, sample 695 and sample 814. The obtained F value is 2.832, which is lower than the critical value, that is 3.156. Therefore, null hypothesis is accepted at confidence level 0.05. Thus, there is no significant difference between the three samples of cocktail based on the taste.
The last attribute is overall liking. Overall liking refers to classical overall evaluation of the food cocktail, cover taste, aroma, texture, and appearance. It measures the extent to which a particular enjoy cocktail as a whole. For H9, there is no significant difference between sample 219, sample 619, and sample 814. Next H alternative, there is a significant difference between sample 260, sample 619, and sample 814. Based on the table, Oven F value 3.176 is higher than F critical value 3.1456. So, the conclusion, we will reject H null hypothesis at the confidence level 0.05. There is Significant difference between the three samples of cocktail: sample 200, 260, sample 619, and sample 840.
Now, let's talk about the conclusion drawn from the hedonic test. Our hedonic test compared the three fruit cocktail samples, sample 814, sample 261, and sample 694, based on appearance, aroma, texture, taste, and overall liking. The result reveals some interesting findings. So for appearance, panelists rated sample 814 the least sweet sample, the highest in terms of appearance. The lower sugar content in this sample resulted in a clearer, more vibrant presentation. The fruit colors were more distinct and the liquid appeared less cloudy, making it more visually appealing. And for aroma, in terms of aroma, sample 814 was also the most preferred. The lower sweetness level allowed the natural fragrance of the fruit to stand out more prominently. Panelists found the aroma of sample 814 to be fresher compared to the sweeter sample, where the stronger sweetness somewhat masked the fruit's natural scents. And then the texture. The texture result showed that sample 814 had the highest score. The lower sugar concentration likely helped preserve the firmness of the fruit pieces and nata de coco, providing a balanced mouthfeel. And sample with a higher sugar content and will tend to soften fruits, which might explain why the panel preferred the texture sample 814. And then the taste. Interestingly, despite the difference in sugar concentration, there were no significant difference in the taste score across the three samples. This suggests that even though sweetness was varied, the overall flavor profile of the fruit cocktail was consistent enough to appeal to the panelists regardless of the sugar level. So overall liking, when it came to overall liking, sample 814 once again stood out. Though the difference was not statistically significant compared to the other sample, panelists appreciated the balance of flavors in sample 814, likely due to its more natural sweetness and the enhanced sensory attributes of appearance, aroma, and texture. So key takeaways and recommendations. Our study demonstrates that reducing the sugar content in fruit cocktails does not negatively impact taste, and in fact, it can improve other sensory attributes like appearance, aroma, and texture. So for manufacturers, this presents a valuable opportunity. By focusing on lowering sugar content, we can create products that cater to the increasing demand of healthier option without sacrificing key sensory qualities that consumer enjoys. This not only help to meet consumer health trends, but also maintains product appeal and satisfactions in the market. So, in conclusion, the result of this hedonic test suggests that a less sweet fruit cocktail can actually be more appealing in terms of sensory appearance. The manufacturer should consider emphasizing lower sugar. That's all.